The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has brand new gameplay that we are going to be checking out. If you want to fast forward in this stream by about 28 minutes, that will be when their brand new gameplay goes live. But I like to open up these videos and these live streams with a little bit of a monologue, and I try to put all the good information right here at the beginning. So I want to walk through and talk about what I'm sort of looking for. I am going to get into the durability discussion. I know everybody kind of hates it or loves it. I do think there are ways they could evolve it, as well as other survival elements. So if you like these kinds of streams, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit the bell button so you don't miss when I go live. We have lots of great discussions. So what exactly am I looking for in the new Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gameplay, or just in the game in general? Because I do think there are a lot of things about this game that people are hoping to see. Number one, I want to have a look at the open world. I think this is going to be a pivotal part of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, as far as it not feeling too much like the previous game. I know there's already discussions about Game of the Year. I'm going to touch on that in a moment. And I think so much of this is related to the open world. How much has it changed? Are there dungeons this time? That was a big critique of Breath of the Wild, there was an absence of dungeons. There was an absence of that classic Zelda feel of needing to sort of beat a dungeon or a castle or whatever and having a boss at the end. Are we just going to be doing another sort of tower and shrine hunt? Is that going to be the primary grind? I didn't actually have a problem with that grind. I found it to be enjoyable, but I really wasn't sure if that was the right call to supplant the more traditional dungeon feel of Zelda and instead go in the direction of the shrines. That was a creative decision, obviously, that many people might see differently. I thought it could have gone maybe a little bit more in the middle. I thought the shrine grind was good. I love the idea of sort of improving my character and leveling my character up at my own sort of volitional choice. It wasn't something that just happened as I played. I had to go out and find the shrines and seek them out, and then I could decide if I wanted to increase stamina or increase hearts. Like, I think that way of treating the player's choices is a really great way of handling sort of your player power in the world. The other thing I would really like to see in this gameplay, and I just would love more details on, is the combat itself. I would love to see the combat evolve. I think they already have a good foundation. They have a good framework. I think the perfect dodge was cool, but I honestly think it got a little bit old. If you dodged back at the exact right time, you could dash in and like swing your sword like crazy. I would love to see more done with that level of parrying and dodging. The perfect parries with the shield were a bit tough to time. It'd be cool to see that sort of brought to the melee combat as well, bring it into more of an action RPG feel. Not so much arcadish and simplistic, but maybe add a little bit of depth there. Again, I think they have a very good foundation with respect to Breath of the Wild combat, and I think Zelda Tears of the Kingdom combat could really add on to what we had in the previous game. Now, weapon durability is a giant question mark. It's also an exclamation point for some people. Maybe a couple of those symbols combined, maybe they really don't like it. The question would be, is it returning? And if it is returning, how is it returning? Is it going to be exactly like it was in the previous game? Could it be expanded upon? And I actually think this is where I want to spend a little bit more of my time in this opening talk. I really do think weapon durability needs to stay. I know this is a debate point. I know many people said, well, I just couldn't play the game. I walked away from the game after 20 minutes. I think you made a fundamental mistake. I think you missed out on one of the best games ever made. I think you missed out on one of the best Zeldas ever made. And if you could have just sort of adapted to the fact that, listen, there's always weapons available. You get to the point where the weapon durability is sort of superfluous to what's happening. It's no different than abilities on cooldown and cycling through abilities, or weapons that run out of ammunition like in other action-adventure games. I was literally getting to the point where I would be finishing a shrine and I would say, oh wow, I have to throw a weapon away. There were so many weapons, there was such an abundance. I was never in a position where I was suddenly feeling like, oh man, I'm really strapped for a weapon, and then when you would find particular weapons of strength, abilities, or even an elemental affinity, you would want to kind of save those for particular fights or particular enemies. And I really think people missed out on that depth because they just got hung up on the fact that, like, their weapon broke. They couldn't get beyond that. They couldn't see the forest for the trees, no pun intended. They couldn't really see the game for what it was. They just got hung up on that one thing. And it's like, man, if you would have just pushed past the first, I don't even know, maybe hour or two, you probably would have seen that you're always able to pick up weapons. You're going to leave weapons behind. There's so many. And it really is just sort of a codex of power. You're kind of rotating through dependent on what is going on and what you think is best suited for the job that's currently in front of you. Now, how could they take weapon durability and evolve it? I don't think it needs to stay exactly as it was. I do believe that weapon durability could be made significantly better. I've trotted out some of these ideas before in like upload format, but I wanted to put them here because I do think these are ideas that could be implemented and really take the game's survival elements and bring them full circle. I would love to see weapons treated more like the meals that you make. Cooking is a really fun part of the game. My kids absolutely loved it. It was their favorite thing. They would insist on not skipping the cinematic where the food dances and there's the little song, right? You also have the elixirs that you could make. You had elixirs that help with stamina. You have elixirs that help with resistances and things of that nature. And you're using all the things you find in the world to make those items. I could see when you find a little encampment, you'd have the little bowl, the little pot for cooking, and you could also have an anvil, or anvil, however you're supposed to say it. You could have this anvil, and you could say, hey, listen, you can use this, and you can use resources that you find in the world to repair an item or upgrade an item. You could see that, oh, this sword, this weapon's about to break. I'm going to stop using it. I've really grown fond of this. I'm going to repair this the next opportunity I have. This would interweave weapon durability with the survival elements of the game. You're finding stones and crystals and gems and all sorts of things, and you could then use those to improve, repair the weapons. Now, you could also give every weapon the ability to be upgraded by a few points. Let's say you find something that it's got a 5 on it, and that's its strength. It's a 5. And if you really like it, and you want to make it a little bit stronger, you could invest materials and maybe bumping it up to an 8. It could put a little plus symbol on it, take it up to 8. Now you have more of a vested interest in potentially repairing the weapon and kind of keeping it at your side for a while. This would sort of honor the intention of those players that just get really hung up on this and say, hey, you can actually take the due diligence just like you do with making sure you've got stuff to make meals and cook with, whether it's fish or fruit or whatever you're using from the world, and you could treat weapons in a similar way. Bows and shields could also be treated in this way. You could say, I really like this shield. I like the way that it looks. It's pretty strong. And you could then invest in upgrading it. And just like other elements of the game, the further you get, the better the gear, the more expensive it would be to repair or upgrade, which lines up with the stuff that you're finding. You're finding better jewels. You're finding better materials later in the game. I really do think this would take the survival elements of Breath of the Wild and sort of allow it to mushroom up into something better. This is where I think I do agree with people about weapon durability. It didn't feel fully invested and integrated into the game. It felt sort of like a tack on, like, well, we want to have tons of enemies with tons of weapons, and we want the game to feel like a survival game, so your weapons are just going to break. Okay, well, you run out of stamina, you can take an elixir for that. You run out of health, you can eat food for that. Your weapon's going to break, you should be able to repair it. I think that's a harmony with the game that might win some people over and also allow the game to deepen itself and evolve beyond what it initially was. I know people do not like weapon durability. They might hear me say all this and say, nope, still hate it. I still think, I typically don't do this. I do not like when people say you're playing the game the wrong way. I find that to typically smack of elitism or gatekeeping. But I do think you can say that sometimes. If I was playing a fighting game and I was only using really, really weak attacks and I wasn't doing any combos, and I thought, well, this game's stupid. This is how I want to play. This is how I like playing games like this. And maybe I hearken back to the days of old when fighting games were a lot more simplistic and button mashing was, easier or whatever. I'm totally just making up an example. But imagine that I played in that way. I think you'd have every right to say you're not playing the game as it was designed. You're not playing the game and considering the intentions of the developers, and that's why you're having a bad time. So I think at a fundamental level, if you accept a game as it is and you accept its mechanics and play it as it's designed, you're probably more likely to enjoy it. If you can never get over that fact, I totally understand. I remember playing those zombie games, whether it was Dead Island or Dying Light, and I remember finally getting like a really good weapon and that durability element of it and it breaking and stuff. I just didn't like that. I always felt that was kind of a flat tire. So I do empathize with people not liking it, but I think you're selling the game short by just throwing it over your shoulder and saying, no, I can't get over this. I can't get over weapon durability. Now, I also want to push back on people saying that weapon durability isn't true to Zelda. I don't think you're really remembering the game's history. This kind of is one of those games that laid the seedbed for survival-style games. The idea that you're using the things that you find to survive this perilous, open, big, huge world. Go back and play the original Legend of Zelda. It's perilous. It's scary. You have nothing. You start with nothing. That's kind of like a survival game. Now, I'm not saying it's a survival game. I'm just saying there are elements of the original Zelda that are very reminiscent to a survival game. You start with nothing, and you have to sort of use the things that you find. You don't just find items to survive either. You find items that get you into areas. I'll never forget my dad coming to the lake in the original Legend of Zelda, and I was like, hey, man, you just got that flute. Play the flute, see what happens, and it dried up the lake. Like, that's a great video game memory that I have with my dad, because that's what you were doing in those games. There's a survival element. Now, they're not survival games per se, but I think you can see the connection between old Zelda games and survival games in Breath of the Wild. You need this item to get into this place, whether it's the ability to lift a rock or blow a whistle, right, or blow a flute. You need this item to survive this place. They're very similar themes. You need this item to be stronger. You're not strong enough to get into this area, lift this rock, or push this boulder. You need this item to stay healthy. Interweaving the items that you find with your sense of strength, power, and survival is true to Zelda, historically speaking. The arguments against weapon durability typically break down, no pun intended, but they typically break down into I just don't like it. And you try to claim that this isn't true to Zelda, and I can see how somebody might say, in a game where you're always pursuing a master sword and a shield, and then that's all that really matters, this isn't true to that. I don't think I can disagree with you, but I also think I could say I don't think you can have games continue to feel that hemmed in. I can't imagine playing Breath of the Wild the entire time with a sword and a shield and never switching things up. Combat would be flat. Combat would be very, very predictable. I can't imagine doing that. I also can't imagine finding a club and then just using the club for a super, super long time, and that's all I'm using. I just think there's something about the way they built Breath of the Wild, the way they built the world, the enemies, and the variety of combat and weapons. That's actually one of the reasons I would love to see the combat evolved, because it is just so simplistic at some levels, even though there's tons of weapons. It's an open-world game where gathering materials is part of the fabric of the game. Food, elixirs, expanding your stamina, your health, getting armor that resists weather elements, because you can't go to certain areas until you get certain armors, and if you don't have those armors, you need to use an elixir because it's too cold or it's too hot. That's all survival. And you can say you don't like survival games, and that's totally fair and fine. I don't like a lot of survival games either, and I typically don't play them. You can't take one element of the survival game, weapon durability, and just jettison it. I think that would be a mistake. I even had somebody say they played the game modded on a PC, and they couldn't, their weapons couldn't break. And they said that it really didn't feel like the same game. It really harmed the experience. They said that it was not enjoyable. I think people are you sort of used it in really weird ways too. This is something I need to make mention of. I had a guy leave a comment on a weapon durability video, and he said, I had to go into my inventory in the middle of the fight to change my weapons. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You just had to literally cycle your weapons. And just like any other action adventure game, when you're cycling through your weapons or your abilities, everything kind of freezes or slows down. In Breath of the Wild, it freezes. In games like Horizon Zero Dawn, you're switching your weapons all of the time. You run out of arrows and have to make more. You run out of shock arrows and have to make more. And you're going around your little dial and changing your weapons. Like, that's part and parcel to open world action adventure games a lot of the times. Now, this is what I'm looking for today, and fundamentally, I think weapon durability is part of it. I want to see open world expansion. I want to see performance improvements, even if they're minor. I know that that's probably a long shot. We're probably not going to get 60 FPS, which is a huge bummer. I'd love to see combat evolved. I would love to see weapon durability expanded. I want to see survival elements maintained and made better. I want to see survival elements taken further. Lastly, many people claiming that Breath of the Wild sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, is a Game of the Year contender, okay? I think that really depends on how much the game differentiates itself from the first game. If this feels like Breath of the Wild 2.0, I don't think it wins Game of the Year. Now, I trust Nintendo to really bring their A game. They typically treat their first-party property very, very well, but I do think Tears of the Kingdom getting Game of the Year 100% hinges on just how much this does not feel like a Breath of the Wild clone. And at the end of the day, it's more Zelda, and with that, I'm always excited to jump in. That is the show open. It's a little bit of a different show open today because we're kind of just sitting around waiting for this video to go live, and it should be going live in the next 10 minutes. I keep refreshing their page. Does anybody have a link to the video? Have they linked to the video? It's probably just a scheduled premiere. We're going to look at the 10 minutes of gameplay. We'll probably rewind it. We'll slow it down. We'll pause it. I'm happy to discuss weapon durability with you guys while we wait. We've got about 10 minutes if you guys kind of want to debate it. I just got to call you out for saying completely stone-faced that people should have just played for at least an hour or two. Well, listen. I have always said that if a game's content loop doesn't pull me in the first hour or so, I walk away. Now, some games, the content loop, I don't enjoy it from in the first 20 minutes. Either the fluidity of combat's bad, or the parrying and the dodging is bad, right? Or whatever. I actually think that most of the time when I say that, like, yeah, you got to give a game about an hour, and if in the first hour I don't like the content loop, I walk away. Now, somebody might say, dude, weapon durability is a part of the content loop. I'm always having to pick up other weapons. Okay, but hang on a minute. Did you enjoy the way combat felt? Did you enjoy exploring the open world? Yes? And yes? Okay, well, give it some time so that you have enough weapons that you don't feel that pain point. It's part of the power fantasy. It would be like getting frustrated that you only have 3 hearts. It would be like getting frustrated that you don't have tons of stamina, right? Like, that's part of the power fantasy. Let me get the coffee in the screen. Oh, and I do need to update the member goal. Coyote already gifted a membership, and Dad Not Good renewed his membership. Thank you so much, guys, for doing that. Dad Not Good hitting 14 months in a VIP, and Coyote gifted a sub to SDO. If you guys want to help us hit this goal, we've been maintaining about 2,500 members. We've slipped a teeny bit. We're in the 2,300s now, but still within reach of hitting 3,000 members, which would be the next big milestone, and unlock the Just Dance stream that I do not want to do. That's why the goal is set so high. But at 2,500, you do unlock the Star Wars Watch Party and the Doubleheader Horror Weekend, which I believe we've held 2,500 enough this month that you guys have earned that for next month. Derek says, I'm just teasing you, I agree, just thought it was kind of hilarious. Typically, I push back on people saying it gets better after 10 hours. I'm like, bro, I'm not taking that kind of a gamble. I'm not. If the game is not enjoyable in the first hour or so, I walk away. I'm like, no, thank you. Oh, it gets so much better when you get to the 10th hour. No, I'm not gambling my time. One of the most extreme examples we had of that was, I think it was one of the Monster Hunters, where people said you need to wait. You need to wait until the 16th hour. And I was like, 16 hours? 16. Really? I don't have that kind of time. There are indie games that don't last for 16 hours. You want me to dedicate 16 hours to a game that I'm not presently enjoying? Like, come on, man. Nintendo is for weebs? That's incredibly dismissive and not true. I mean, a lot of the Nintendo games that sell incredibly well have nothing to do with that. They're just very popular first-party titles, whether it's Mario or Metroid or Zelda. I don't think those games would fall into like a quote-unquote weeb category. Yo, Phantom Phoenix, thank you so much for 7 months of membership. Like a fuzz. Thank you so much, man, for 7 months of membership. Welcome back in. Feed, I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Obviously, we are not streaming on the Tickety Talk today because I can't show gameplay over there because that platform is kind of a joke. They won't give out Steam codes, stream keys anymore. So, and we are at some point this week going to do test streaming. We'll be streaming here at the same time, but we will do a test stream over on Kick. So if you guys don't have an account over there, we're going to kind of just test it out and see how it feels. And make sure if you set up an account over there, you set up 2-factor authentication. Oh, I hear you. And your situation makes your time even shorter. I know I got burned with Anno and I kept playing and it actually got worse. Yeah, I firmly believe that if a game's content loop doesn't hook you in the first hour, you're probably making the right decision to put the game down. However, you can't simplify Zelda Breath of the Wild's content loop down to weapon durability. Like, there's more to it than weapon durability. Does that make sense? Like, you can't be like, oh, yeah, I just couldn't get into it. Why? Well, everything was great except for weapon durability. Well, it's like, okay, hang on a minute. Like, that you maybe you'll like it. You just have to get past the point where there aren't a lot of weapons, because you start out, honestly, I feel like the first area that you fight the guys, you get tons of weapons from them. Sweet reason to try Kick. Yeah, I think they might make some moves. I do. I think they might make some moves, and it would be like, I have an account over there and everything if you want to follow Reforge Gaming over there. So we'll do a test stream. I need 75 followers and like 5 hours of streaming to turn on monetization. So we should be able to hit that our first day. Well, not our first day. Our test stream's not going to be that dadgum long. Durability is a fine obstacle to present the player with. You just need to give more options for how to overcome that obstacle beyond gathering and cycling through tons of weapons, crafting, repairing, etc. Yeah, Sean, I 100% agree with you. I do think this is where people's criticism of durability is actually fair. No, not Kick Messenger. Kick.com. K-I-C-K, as in kicking a ball. This is where I think people are fair in their criticism of weapon durability. It's just super simplistic. It's literally just have as many weapons as you possibly can. There's nothing to it. There is no gathering materials to repair. There's no gathering materials to upgrade. Now, they kind of did that, right? They kind of did that with the Guardian weapons late game. You could, like, go buy them. That's not really what I'm thinking. A very strained and choked currency point. It was like, what? I didn't feel like that was a fully orbed system. It was like you could do a lot more with this. Why not restream everywhere you can? Well, one of the things I don't want to do, Philip, is I don't want to restream. Because I'm worried that if I restream, you're funneling everything through them, and I don't want anything between me and YouTube. YouTube's my primary audience. It's my primary means of making a living. And I don't want to add any more latency or potential chances for blips or problems. So I always want to be streaming directly to YouTube. Now, I'm going to use my second rig to stream to Kick, so that I'm separating the internet sources. I'm separating I don't want to stream through a restreaming service. I just don't. The people that do that have audiences that are so large, they don't need the sort of intimate back and forth that we have, and I just don't think you're going to get that if I'm suddenly funneling everything through a restream service. Yeah, restreams, it sucks, blips like crazy. Yeah, I don't think it's worth diminishing where we primarily stream. I can literally stream on a second rig and not have to do that, so... Ninja Switch streaming everywhere, and it might work for him. Might be something to work towards. I mean, I could see us streaming here, Kick, and the Tickety Talk, which typically I am streaming in both places here and the Tickety Talk, but you also have to understand, Ninja's playing a volume game. He's almost never reading chat. Like, if you get him to read your chat, you're winning the dadgum lottery. He's got thousands of people watching him on every platform. So if there's blips, stutters, or buffering, or you don't get a quick response from him, that doesn't diminish his quality or his value. That would immediately diminish my quality and value if my responses were slower, if there was buffering, if there was blips. We've been getting into 500, 600 viewer averages. That wouldn't happen if you were having a hard time feeling like you could interact with me because I was funneling everything through a restream service. So, not gonna lie, I'm hyped for Tears of the Sun, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. I always want to call it. I've called it Tears of the Sun, Tears of the Mountain. I've called it all sorts of different game names. I've called it so many different things. And, yeah, I keep refreshing the Nintendo page. I don't see the video. I do not see the video. If somebody gets a link to the video, feel free to share it in the Discord. I'm assuming they're going to tweet it. I'm just assuming they're going to tweet it. Maybe I just need to check their Twitter. Because it's probably going to be a premiere with a countdown, would be my guess. That's typically how these things go. Because it's officially 10 o'clock, and I'm not seeing anything on their Twitter feed. It's supposed to be going live right now, and if it's all been scheduled... Okay, they've unpinned the tweet. Yeah, they just unpinned the tweet, so they must be getting ready to tweet out. They had the... I got signed out of Twitter? What is going on with Twitter? Yeah, I just got signed out. That's so freaking weird. And now I'm signed back in. And now their tweet is pinned again. Dude, it's live? Alright, hang on a second. It's a live stream? Just go look at their videos. Oh, there it is. I got it. Give me a second. Alright, I got it. I got it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me pause my music. Here we go. Let's loop it. Actually, let's make sure that we're on 1080.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eiji Aonuma, producer of the Legend of Zelda series. First, I have some news. Development on The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is now complete.
That's great news.
Thank you very much for waiting. Many of you are looking forward to this game, and we've released a few trailers so far. Although it'll just be a brief glimpse, I'm going to actually play the game for you all today and show you what it's like. Okay? Let's begin.
Let's do it.
Here we are in the land of Hyrule. Like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, there's a vast world to explore. Of course, it's not just the same world as is. It's changed in many ways. If we talk about all of the changes today, we'll run out of time, so we hope you'll seek them out for yourself when the game launches.
Okay.
In this game, the vast world of Hyrule reaches high into the sky. You'll notice some landmasses floating up there. We call them Sky Islands.
Mm-hmm. I'm already hearing people say...
You're probably wondering something. How do you get to the Sky Islands when they're so high up?
Yeah, I
If we
like
take a
Link's
look-
long hair.
Oh, something's falling from the sky. Do you see it? I wonder what that is. Let's head over to it. We're almost at the spot where the object fell. Here it is. Okay, let's use one of Link's new abilities. If you do this on the rock that just fell... Look, it started rising. This power is known as recall, which rewinds an object's movement. Since I just used recall on the fallen rock, I can now rise into the sky. We're
Look
a lot
at the
closer to the
scope
Sky
of this
Islands.
game size.
Let's use the paraglider to reach one of them. There are a few other Sky Islands floating here too.
I said in my show
made it.
open, you're going to have to
There are
differentiate this
lots
game
of ways
from
to
the
reach the
first.
Sky Islands, so we hope you'll try a few different methods. Okay, now we're on a slightly bigger Sky Island. Just like on the surface, there are several man-made structures. Some trees are also growing here. You won't see many of those yellow trees on the surface, though. Let's walk around for a bit.
Yeah, he's got some new ability up there under his hearts.
There's a branch on the ground. When you find something like this, you should pick it up. It might come in handy later. Let's continue. Oh, something's there. This is a brand new enemy called a construct. We'll fight it using the branch we just picked up. Ah, the branch broke.
Weapon
Not
durability.
good, not good. Quick, get another branch and... we defeated it.
Okay. Durability confirmed, still a part of the game.
Moving on. We've now
Combat.
explored more of this Sky Island.
We'll
As
analyze
expected,
that again.
fighting
Combat
with
looks
just a
basically
branch
the same.
won't get us very far. Also, this branch is almost broken. So here's another one of Link's new abilities. If we use this branch and the rock over here, and do this, look, we can stick them together. We created a makeshift hammer. This is called fuse. You can stick objects together to create new weapons with various effects. Let's take on another construct with this fused weapon.
Let's do it. This sounds
We're dealing
great.
with two of them at once.
Did it reset durability? It did. It
Oh,
reset
beat one.
durability.
The weapon's attack has definitely improved. The other branch broke, but this weapon has much better durability.
Okay.
You can do
Okay.
all sorts of things by experimenting with the fuse ability.
He
You
just
can
said
fuse two weapons, for example. If we take this long stick and fuse it with a pitchfork, we can create a weapon with a much longer attack range.
let's go. He said it improves
With
durability.
this, we don't have to get too close to enemies, and we can safely attack from a distance. You can also fuse arrows with materials in your inventory.
No.
For instance, try fusing this leaf to an arrow. Fuse an ice elemental material to an arrow and you can freeze faraway enemies.
Get out of here. This is great.
Very useful. In addition, let's see. Ah, there's a bird flying around. If you're out hunting, you might feel that aiming with an arrow is too difficult. Apparently, my eyes can't track fast-moving objects as of late, so my shots rarely land. So, at times like these, here's an eyeball you can get by defeating monsters. Fuse it to an arrow and...
It's going to heat seek.
look, it homed in on the target.
We saw that in the last
Let's
trailer.
try this on another bird. I'll just fire in that general direction. It's very simple. Depending on what you stick together, the fuse ability could also be beneficial for hunting.
I love this. I love this. I can't wait to talk about this with you guys. There's so many good things about...
I fused a mushroom to my shield. Now, you're probably wondering if this has any use. Well, this mushroom is actually a puff shroom. Let's fight an enemy with this. I blocked with the shield. Okay, there's smoke now. The enemies lost sight of Link, so attack! Even if you struggle with combat, you can take down enemies using similar methods. In the previous game, you'd usually get powerful weapons by defeating strong enemies.
This is all a checkmate to people who are anti-durability. This is a huge checkmate. They wouldn't have been able to do any of this with a traditional weapon system.
But in this game, fusing even the weakest weapon with something else could turn it into a useful weapon.
He
There are
fused
even
it
more
with the
gameplay
log!
options for sticking things together. Let me demonstrate.
He fused it with the log!
Some of the Sky Islands even have rivers. We'll want to cross this one, but swimming across it, well, the river's too wide for that. We need a boat. Of course, there isn't anything that resembles a boat around here. So, we'll lift up this log and attach it to a second log. Let's do one more.
Is he gonna
We'll
make a
bring this
boat?
over here and attach a third log. It's a makeshift raft. This is another new ability called Ultra Hand. Even though the logs are currently attached, they can be detached. Let's modify the shape of the raft. You can always attach things or detach them like this.
Bro, this
Now,
is so
if we put
freaking
this on the
awesome.
water, it's made of wood, so the buoyancy will keep it afloat. We've made a simplified version of a boat. However, it won't move in its current state, so we'll need something to propel it forward.
Get a leaf. Make a sail.
There's
Wheels.
something here.
He's gonna
Let's
put-
try hitting it. Oh, wind. It's blowing wind.
Bro, this is how they make the car in the one trailer.
Looks like we found a fan. Why don't we try attaching it?
Y'all help me out. Let me see 200 likes on the vid. Hurry up.
We'll attach another one. This should make the boat well balanced.
I swear to frick,
Okay,
I
attached.
swear to frick, they're the masters. They intentionally started down on the ground in a familiar area so everybody be like, this looks like the last game.
All right, let's try moving the boat. Hey, it's moving. It's sailing pretty fast with the wind from the fans. Since we added 2 fans, we should be able to cross the river in no time. All right, we reached the other side. In the most recent trailer, we showed scenes of Link riding a large car and a flying machine. Those vehicles actually aren't in the game from the start. Instead, you'll be able to freely craft them on your own. There are all sorts of objects you'll come across in this game. And depending on how you use your imagination, you can do a lot with them. So, try crafting different things and explore this world at your leisure. There are even more new abilities. Take this building over here. Okay, watch this. Look, I passed right through the ceiling.
Say what?
This new ability is called Ascend. If you're in a place with a ceiling, you can go through to the floor above you. There are some restrictions, but what's great about this ability is that as long as there's a ceiling, you can use it anywhere.
Nice.
For example, this place has a cave with a hill right above it.
Get out of
If
here.
we use the ability here,
Bro. They're streamlining climbing.
come
Shut
on,
up.
keep going.
Shut up.
Okay, we emerged at the top of the hill. In the previous game, you had to use stamina to climb a mountain. But in this game, if there's a mountain with a cave like this one, you can now get to the top without having to climb all the way up. Here's another example. Imagine you're stuck in a cage. If it's got a ceiling, you know what to do, right? Exactly. Oh, there's another construct. It seems to be holding a strange weapon.
It's a paddle.
Some enemies are equipped with fused weapons, so
He's gonna-
battles will play out a bit differently from the previous game.
He's gonna spank you. It's a paddle.
Ah, it blew me away with wind.
That's what. That's not a.
Looks like it's got some
spank.
sort of fan.
He's spanking you.
Ah! I got pushed off. Ah, well, let's just return to the surface. You can quickly descend from the sky to the surface like this.
Look at the scope of this game, bro. What the heck? How did they do this?
It feels so good. In the sky, you'll be able to look out across the land. You can also search for destinations that pique your interest.
Yo, thick thighs saves lives, baby. Look at those legs.
Once you've chosen your destination, you can speed things up, like this. Let's dive into this river. And we're back on the surface.
How did they build this game, bro? I don't
There's
understand.
still so many things I'd like to show you, but let's leave it at that for now.
Oh, yo! Freaking wizard.
What did you think?
You're a wizard!
Some of Link's new abilities were updated from the previous game. I'm sure some of you watching me play were thinking, wait, if you could do that, then maybe you could do this too. In this game, you can do a lot of things just by thinking about what's even possible. There's still a lot of new gameplay, mysteries, and encounters we couldn't show today, but they're all jam-packed into this unfamiliar Hyrule, and we hope you'll use your imagination to explore it. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. I like his glasses. He's handsome. He's like, I love the salt and pepper. I can't wait for my beard to look like that. All right, I'm going to loop this. All right, I'm going to loop this, and I'm going to put my music on, and I just want to break this down with you guys. There is so much here. Oh, hang on a second. That's just gorgeous. That's awesome. I want that. I want it. That is so close. That is a month away. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I actually really like the Pro Controller. Oh, it's just... Hi there. Wait. Is this the beginning?
Of the Legend of Zelda series.
Okay, I think it...
I have some news.
Okay, it looped. Okay. So, yeah, I want to break this down with you guys so much. There is so much here that I'm extremely excited about, guys. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Let's set our sights on 300 likes. Don't forget to gift members or become a member. It supports the channel directly. We do have an upload today about the $1 Game Pass thing ending. I've got an interesting article about it that I'm going to be reacting to. So the first thing they do, I'm telling you, this was total manipulation. They knew if they started down here like this, everyone was going to say, I don't understand. That just looks like Breath of the Wild. I don't understand. This doesn't look like a new game. I think they did this on purpose. They're the masters. They're the absolute masters. Everybody in this first 20 seconds is going to go, yeah, looks like DLC to me. You know, bleep, bleep. Is Dirty 30 going to be a concern for you? I definitely do not like playing games on 30 FPS, and I definitely am going to have to just play this on my television. It's going to be really hard to play this on a monitor for long periods of time. You know, it's very clearly 30 FPS. I loved the first game, but whenever I go back to it now, that's my primary struggle with it, is it being 30 FPS. Right? So it doesn't surprise me at all that they did this. Now, you'll notice, too, the way his ability is working, it's up there above his food. His food, his shield, and his sword, and then it's just like an ability that he used. I'm fairly certain. Is that how he did it? Did he proc the L up there? I don't know if that's what he's pressing. I believe that's what he's pressing to do it. Yeah, that's what he is. Is that how it worked in the last game? Was Breath of the Wild's HUD, did you have your food on the D-pad like that? I can't remember. I don't think you had your food on the D-pad like that. Wasn't it your ability? Yeah, your ability was up. Yo, thank you, Matthew Galaski, for doing a member plus, pushing us to 2 members for the day. If you guys enjoy the live streams and the breakdowns, that is a great way to support what we do. And thank you, Trayvon, for renewing your membership a little bit ago, man. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, up was your tablet ability. So they've streamlined where your food is. I like that. You're not going to have to go into your inventory to eat food. You're going to have that right on your D-pad. That's a great change as well for just the moment-to-moment not being too disrupted. I was never a huge fan of having to, like, open up my inventory to eat my food, so I think that's a good change. It looks like they put your ability on left trigger. You'll notice his ability now is the green ability. So I'm assuming you're going to have to rotate that or cycle that in some way. Now, again, I think they're the masters of marketing here. They're just the masters. So the first thing they do is they confirm that the combat is basically the same, and kaboom, they confirm that weapon durability is still here, knowing that'll upset people. Yo, we're getting a little bit of a member train here, and these are not gifted members. These are people buying their own memberships. Phantom of the Night just snagged a membership, taking us to 3 members on the day. Guys, keep it going. I love when folks commit and do their own membership. I really, really do. Notice this building in the background. Are you guys seeing this building up here? Up in the right hand corner. Look at that. That's a whole new structural type. I don't think any of those building types were in the first game. So I love that they immediately are like, oh yeah, weapon durability is still a thing, but you can stick a boulder on the end of your stick, and you'll notice he says its durability has been increased. So this is giving you the option of not only making your own weapons, which is just freaking awesome, but you can mitigate the lower durability items or the lower durability-ness of certain items and say, hey, there's sticks everywhere and those things break like crazy. Well, smack a boulder on the end of it and he's able to defeat 2 enemies here, and he doesn't even get the warning. He doesn't even get the durability warning yet, so it's been significantly increased. It broke on one fight, and there he did 2 fights without even the warning. Didn't see a shrine, which is nice. Yeah, I don't know. That's the other thing that I'm going to be really interested in. And you'll notice when it pops up, right, it shows you right here what it adds. So this move that he just did added a +4. I'm assuming 6 is the result. I'm just going to assume that that's the result, right? Is that how you guys read that? The numbers on the map? Yeah, are the numbers on the map your coordinates? So you can tell people exactly where something is? Let's see when he moves. Yeah, the numbers are changing when he moves. Yep. Yeah. So you can give people exact coordinates of where something is. Like if you find like a Doku seed or whatever the frick they're called. That thing is super long. I was kind of bummed they didn't show us what this would do, right? He attaches the material. He attaches that. He just decides not to do it. I absolutely love this, by the way. The fact that you can just make the arrows on the fly instead of having to find the arrows. You'd have to, like, find the fire arrows or find the explosive arrows. No, they haven't said anything about bringing temples or dungeons back, Fozzie. Good to see you, by the way. It's going to blow. Yeah, I think that arrow with the leaf on it's really just, it's going to blow. It's going to be pretty bad. I'm going to build a giant warship. Yeah, I wonder what's the largest thing that you could build in this. Could you chop down like 100 trees and make like a cabin? Can you make like a house? You know what I'm saying? Look at the tracking on this, by the way. Look how far he shoots it down there and it still finds him. That's awesome. I think the leaf upgraded the bow's range. Oh, did it put something on the screen to tell us? Yeah, hang on. Yeah, it shows us what it does. Yeah, it bumped it by 1. I don't know if that's range or damage. That's hard to know. Okay, hang on. When he puts this on, does it pop up with anything? That does the same thing. It's just doing a +1. I don't know if anything you put on is a +1. Maybe there's items that do more than +1 for the arrows. Yo, Sean with 4 months of memberships. Love the emphasis on player incentive to experiment. Everyone's playthrough of this game will be unique based on the interactions they find and rely on. You know what I feel like they did? I feel like they leaned into what people were doing with the shrines. Remember watching people come up with the craziest solutions to some of the shrines because of all the crazy abilities and all the stuff people were doing with, like, the freezing abilities and stuff? He's probably going to get a +1 here as well, I bet. The Keese eyeball. Yeah, just another +1. Oh no, cutting down all the trees. That's right. You could make a house. Yeah, you could. The fuse ability is a nice addition. I do wonder if you can fuse a weapon to repair it instead. Well, if you go back to where he does it, right? The stick is gotten a durability warning, and then he puts a rock on it, and then it's no longer having a durability warning. So I don't know. I think once you fuse it, it's a new weapon. You're not, like, repairing the original weapon. Does that make sense? That's what I'm saying. People who use glitches and unintended mechanics to speedrun Breath of the Wild are creaming their pants right now. Yeah, they're very exciting. I mean, I'm sorry, they're very excited, I'm sure. Tears of the Dead Rising. Right. I love that thing that they did with the shield. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Any other viewers want to jump on the member train, says Goddess. It'd be awesome to keep it going. Thank you, Goddess, for calling out chat. Say, hey, guys, jump on the member train. Also, we only need 28 more likes. Smack that like button, guys. It helps out the video. It helps more people find it. I appreciate everybody who supports this channel so much. This part, man, I'm telling you what, bro. This is... Wait, what ability does he have up there now? See, he's using his fuse ability, but now up in the corner, he has some hand. I don't think he's using that upper left corner to do this right now. I think he's hitting something else. Ultra hand? Oh, no, he is using the Ultra Hand. Okay, no, that's what it's called. Okay, so he is. This isn't just fusing. This is called Ultra Hand. It's behind me. The view distance when he got knocked off was really impressive. A makeshift boat? Yeah, my man makes a boat and just drops it in the water. Look at the physics in interacting with it. I feel like the devs must have watched a ton of the crazy stuff people figured out in Breath of the Wild and just decided to make a lot of the stuff work like that. Yeah, you're just empowering player volition. He called it Ultra Hand. Oh, so this is not fuse. It's just using that same green color. That's what threw me off. Like, he's using that. He's using the... oh, and those things recharge over time. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I just saw the green color and thought, oh, this is like fuse. No, this is called Ultra Hand. Now, these things, their battery recharges. I wonder if you could put 2 different engines on here and then only hit one, and then when it dies, you would just hit the other one. Yeah, because he hits the one and they both turn on. That's interesting. It's almost like it's a unified power system. Like, I wonder if you're able to use one and not the other. It's great when the devs film and publish reaction videos and stuff like that. Yeah, so they're saying these items right here were made with Ultra Hand. They are not in the game. Like, that somebody made these. Like, these are not... They're not like cars or things that you can just stumble across. You're literally people making them. 100% Derek, it's great when Derek... Oh, I already read that. This makes me think that we can craft weapons with added damage depending. Well, yeah, like, that's what I'm curious about, you know. I see Western survival game influences looks cool, but not seeing Game of the Year. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing I said in the show open, Paul. If Zelda Tears of the Kingdom wants to win Game of the Year, I think they really have to drive home just how much they have differentiated the game from the first. If it feels like, oh, it's the same map and I can just go up into the sky, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Now, I think the creativity they're bringing with Fuse and with what you can do to your shield, your melee weapons, as well as your arrows, I think that alone is really going to elevate it significantly. Just wish we could get our boy in 4K 60. Yeah. I'll be honest, the 30 FPS in this gameplay doesn't look that bad. And they're not doing like super slow pans and super slow scans. Like, I feel like they're playing the game in a genuine way. You know what I mean? Dungeons have to be good for it to be Game of the Year. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like you need to completely you need to do more to differentiate it from the previous game. Like, no more shrine chasing, no more tower chasing. You know, we've got to have something new that we're doing. There's 2 big red spots on the ground right there. Did you guys see that? See? There's one right here glowing red, and there's one over here glowing red. I'm not sure what those could be. I don't think anything like that. See? One there and one there. That reminds me of those rifts or whatever they were called in Immortals Phoenix Rising that you would go down into. I don't think that's lava. I think those are spots that you would go and do something on, because watch how it glows and radiates. It has like a glowing radiate thing going on. I don't know if it's lava. Look at Lono trying to justify 30 FPS. I'm not justifying it. That's the biggest thing that I can't... That's the only thing about this game that I don't like. You know? It drives me freaking crazy. Like, I'll have to play it on my television. If you play something like this on a monitor, it's way more noticeable. Weren't the shrines red? No, they were like orange. They had like an orange outline. I want to go back to where he fuses the one weapon. Yeah. So here it's badly damaged. Wait, does he pick up a new one? Okay, no. See, your tree branch is badly damaged. So the tree branch is actively damaged. Oh, but I don't know if it's the same one here. I don't know. I assumed it was the same one. No, yeah, your tree branch is badly damaged. It is the same one. So he gets the warning that it's damaged. And when he actually does this, when he does fuse, it's no longer badly damaged. So I don't know if it resets the durability, or does it combine the two? Does the boulder have a certain durability number, and the branch's durability number has been taken down to like a 1 or whatever? Do I know when the second Hollow Knight comes out? No. Nobody knows when Silk Song's coming out. We wish we knew when it was coming out. So I don't know. Like, here's the question I have. If you take a tree branch that's badly damaged and you combine it with the boulder, and then you take a tree branch that is not damaged at all and you combine it with the boulder, do both of those items have the same durability, or does the one item's durability, is it lowered because you fused something that was already damaged? Does that make sense? That's what I would like to see experimented with. So you have two tree branches that are not equal. One has been damaged and one has not been. And when you combine them with the boulders, do the boulders reset durability entirely? Or, is it, no, this one's going to have weaker durability because you started with a damaged tree branch? It could create a new item as new ID. Yeah, that's the question. I don't know. Because he's now no longer got a warning that it's been weakened. It's basically a brand new weapon, but I don't know if its starting durability is affected. At the end of the day, he fused a badly damaged tree branch to complete 2 fights, and the same tree branch fused with the weapon didn't get a warning. Right, but Hollow, I'm saying take 2 branches, one's damaged and one's not, and you combine them each with their own boulder. Did they each get the same number of swings? Or is one going to get less swings because it started with a damaged tree branch? I'm just thinking experiment-wise, that would be something I would be curious about. How does the mechanic exactly work? Is it a brand new item with a brand new durability number, or is the durability number the result of the 2 fused items? Like, can I take 2 almost broken weapons and fuse them together and essentially extend their life? Does that make sense? Like, let's say you have a sword, and then you have another sword, and their durability is about to break. You drop one on the ground, you get one out, and you fuse them together. You know what I'm saying? A great Thunderblade fused with an Ice Blade. Right, there's so many things you could do. So many things you could do. I'm curious if you have to combine different types, because they combined the one spear with the pitchfork. Can you combine 2 identical swords together? Like, is that a possibility? Is that even an option? Yeah, what if you just combine 2 tree branches? Exactly. What does that create? Does it create some kind of a club? Does it create... I don't know. My excitement for the game increased a ton just with this system. 10% durability plus 10% durability equals max durability would make it less of a pain point. Just craft them together before they break. Right, but here's the other question, Abe. Let's say, let me go back to here. Okay, let's say that you do this. You create a new item, okay? When this item is about to break, can he fuse this item with something else? I don't think so. I would imagine fusing is only one item by itself to a new item, which means even if you do what you're saying, eventually that fused item's going to break. Right? Cliffo says, I don't think anything will happen. Right. Is fusing only between 2 weapon types? Like, do you need one sword and a completely different sword, or can you fuse 2 identical items? And I think Welfare Rockstar is correct. I think you can only fuse once. I think this item is now, when it breaks, it breaks. That's the end of it. You can't fuse it anymore. So Abe is correct. You are able to extend that pain point, but it's still going to eventually break. Just think there's someone out there who is going to play the whole game without ever looking up and realizing he can go up into the skies. Oh, I don't think so, Shelly. I think they're going to direct you to the skies because they literally give you a mechanic to get up there. They're going to teach you how to use that mechanic more than likely and let you go up into the sky. Breaking weapons again? Yeah, weapon durability's in the game, but they've given you a pretty nice way to mitigate it or get around it a teeny bit with something called fuse. You can fuse 2 weapons together and get more durability. You get a whole new weapon, basically. True, I don't think there's going to be a next tier of crafting. Yeah, I wanted crafting, and I think this is close enough. Like, this isn't obviously a repair, but this is basically the upgrade thing that I was talking about. In my show open, I said, imagine if you could take a weapon and it had the ability for you to take it up from like a 5 to a 7. That's kind of what they're doing. They're raising the weapon's number by doing fuse. So it's not a traditional upgrade or repair crafting system. It's more of like an on-the-fly weapon buff. Like, oh, let me just make a hybrid. I think it's really cool. I also think it's cool that you'll find fused weapons in the wild, they said. You can even fuse things to the front of your shield. I think that's dope as well. What if you actually shoot the leaf? Yeah, they didn't show what happens if you shoot the leaf. They just decided to do a frozen one instead. There was a fire-breathing weapon. Yeah, if we go back and look at that trailer recently where he like jumps in the air, swings and slams the ground, I wonder if that's a fused weapon that he has. Because watch what he does right here. I wouldn't at all be surprised if there was a consumable that you can use where fusing adds durability. Yeah, look at that thing. Okay, so that takes it... It only took it up by 1. Didn't earlier the boulder do more than 1? Yeah, that added a 4. That added a 4. And when he does this, how much does it add? 2. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Different combinations yield different results. So the boulder's a +2, but the spear and the pitchfork is a +4. And then the stick into the log is just a +1. So I wonder if certain combinations are more fruitful, like stronger. What about shield surfing? Can you fuse a shield with a more slippery or bouncy material? Oh, that's a great idea. That's a really, really good idea. That'd be really, really cool to like actually give the shields like a really, really cool new ability of like sliding and maybe bouncing, maybe a high jump. You know, there's a whole lot of things they could do with that. That could be really, really good. Maybe it's some kind of skill level that gives you more durability from crafting. Right? Or is it because of the items themselves? Like, did he just absorb a +4 and is a boulder and a log just less? Right? Does the item that you're fusing to just have its own number? Does that make sense? How do you balance a game around this, though? People are going to break stuff and gain access to areas they aren't supposed to. Yeah, I think they welcome that, though. I think they welcome it. I think they welcome the ability for, the ability for people to do that. Yes, we have to assume Ganon is the main villain. Yeah, they have not said. For whatever reason, I was pretty unimpressed with Breath of the Wild when I saw it. These new tricks really grabbed my attention. Yeah, I did. This has increased my interest. I was interested because I like Zelda. I was interested because I liked Breath of the Wild, but this is very, very different. Guys, if you have not smashed the like button yet, please do so. It'll help more people find this video as we hang out and we break down the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom new gameplay. You could also gift some members and help us hit our daily member goal of 25. We had 3 people jump in today, all on their own, just doing memberships, so no gifted memberships yet. Let me see if there's been any coffee orders. Those are all great ways to support the channel. You can support our glasses sponsor, t-shirt sponsor, but the coffee's not a sponsor, and becoming a member of the channel is not a sponsor either. That's a direct way of supporting what we do here. This is so silly and fun. Yeah, I wonder what level of stuff you could do with the shields, because obviously this looks very goofy, and this is actually a really, really nice feature. Think about what he just did, okay? So this right here is like going into a group of enemies. You intentionally switch to this shield, and this is like throwing down a smoke bomb in Ghost of Tsushima, right? You intentionally pull that shield out knowing, oh yeah, I'm going to let somebody hit it. I'm sure Nintendo can design a game where the places you can't go are mostly sealed off when you play normally. Sure, you can break that, but that's been Zelda ever since the very first game. When you go back to the weapon fusing, what's the number in parenthesis? That's the new total? I think it's the new total, yes. So here's a great spot, Suede. So it's a +1, and then in parentheses it puts 5. So I think the parentheses is your new total. I think he was carrying around a stick that was a... Wait, what kind of a stick did he get out here? Is it the stick from before? I don't know if that's the stick from before because he's not holding it. See? He's not holding it. He just goes up. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Yeah, no. He's choosing wooden stick. So we might be able to do some deduction here, okay? So let's go back to the first fuse. And does it say wooden stick on the screen? We might be able to deduce what's going on here. No, tree branch. Tree branch and wooden stick are different items. So when he does the tree branch to the boulder, he gets a +2 and it results in a 4. So that I would take that to mean the tree branch is a 2. Right? The tree branch is a 2 and the +2 takes it to a 4. You'll notice too when you go to fuse, it's asking which item down here. It's asking which item do you want to fuse to the boulder? Do you want your shield to fuse to the boulder, or do you want your tree branch to fuse to the boulder? Because obviously you're going to get a different result if you slap a boulder on the front of your dadgum shield. Guys, if you're just tuning in and you're enjoying the coverage, make sure and smack that like button. Make sure you're subscribed so you can talk in the chat. We're checking out the fuse mechanic in Breath of the Wild. We are checking it out and trying to analyze it. And we are trying to weigh the differences between the different items. Did I get the first coffee order? Let me see. Yes, you did. Silent Warrior. 5 bags of the dark roast. Thank you so much, Silent Warrior, for the first coffee order. Who wants to be the first batch of gifted members today? We had people already move the number. We have 3 members already. They did that on their own. That was not something. Okay. That was not gifted, by the way, the 3 at the bottom. Oh, no, I'm sorry. One of these is a gifted from Coyote. 2 of those are people jumping in on their own. That's a mistake. Sorry. Coyote gifted one of those 3. Yeah, so here, he has the option of fusing the farmer's pitchfork to his wooden shield. I wonder what that would do. Do you think it would put, like, spikes coming out of the shield or something? You know? I don't know. But he's got a long stick, and he fuses it with the farmer's pitchfork. It's a +4, and then he gets a 6 total. So more than likely, the long stick is a 2. This thing here, because it's metal and sharper, is stronger, so it's a 4. And those 2 give you 6. Right? Yo, GNS gifted a membership, and it goes to a long-standing homie who's been here for a long time. It goes to Ghostface. Thank you so much. That takes us to 4 members on the day. Gameplay looks good, but it just shows how outdated the Switch is. Which the crazy thing to me is I bet you this video that they published does incredibly well. I bet you the game does incredibly well. I bet you they sell a ton of copies. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if you could just keep adding long sticks. Eventually you'd be able to beat the boss from the starting area. Yeah, you just poke him from 100 miles away. If I can't fuse my long stick with the farm... Oh my gosh, I'm not reading that out loud. Thank you so much. Oh, I thought I recognized that person in chat. Chris Toast was here. She's been pretty dope on Twitter, supporting and tweeting and retweeting some stuff, liking some stuff. I don't know if you're still here, but I saw you in chat this morning. It was good to see you. They showed the boulder shield at the end. Oh, that's right. They did show the boulder shield at the end. I wonder what it does. You know, does it just add defense? Do they hit it and do they get stunned or something? I'm predicting 14 million first 3 days. 14 million in the first 3 days? Jiminy Christmas. What did they do? What did Breath of the Wild do in comparison? I wonder. Breath of the Wild first week sales. In its first week, Breath of the Wild estimated 1.5 million units. I think you're insane. I think you're insane. You think they're going to get 14 times more sales? Now, Breath of the Wild as a series is one of the best-selling games of all time. It sold more than 30 million copies by 2022. But it didn't get that quickly. Yeah, I got 1.5 million in the first week. It looks like a short while later, worldwide, I'm looking at, April 27th. So a couple of weeks later, it went from 1.5 million to 2.7 million. So in about 3 weeks, it got close to 3 million. It was averaging about 1 million a week. So I don't think you're going to get 14 million in 3 days. That's insanity. That's almost 5 million a day. Remember, it launched with the Switch, which was hard to get on launch. I'll grant you that, Cliffo, but I don't think you're going to go from about 1 million a week to 5 million a day. I wanted to like Breath of the Wild, but I couldn't get into it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, Orphan. I don't expect everybody to like it. I just hope that people give it a chance, because I do think the new weapon fusing that they're doing, I really do think it has the potential to help it to quite a bit, I think. I think it has the potential to make people enjoy it a little bit more. Compare that to the amount of Switches that are out now. Sure. I mean, that could definitely change things, right? That could definitely change things. Isn't the same as doing PS Plus now? No. In fact, they stress buying games before they hit PS Plus. This guy says, which deal? The ABK deal? I had a short hit and everyone's getting confused by it. Thanks for explaining that bit to me. The sequel is going to get 10 times sales in 3 days than the original did in a week. Yeah, I think that's I think that's hard, right? You know, I think that's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough for them to hit that level of sales that quickly. Animal Crossing sold 11 million copies in just 12 days. Yeah, I mean, you know, if Animal Crossing basically averaged about 1 million copies a day, we have to look at what was happening, though, in 2020. That really put some jet fuel in the tank, but Switch saturation also put jet fuel in the tank. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Guys, we have not missed this member goal since November, and today is going to be a little bit different than times past. I don't think we're going to be able to take this stream quite as long as we typically do. So we need about 20 more gifted members to hit the daily goal, and then I will gift you 5. I do have a video. It's a pretty long video. It's a good one. We'll be able to hang out and watch it together as a premiere. It's about the Xbox Game Pass situation, where, you know, they're getting rid of the $1 deal or whatever, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it, and then we can debrief with members. So if you want to bring a bunch of people with us, now is the opportunity to do that. We'll probably hang out and keep watching this for another 15-20 minutes or so, but I'm definitely not going to be able to carry this stream for 2.5 or 3 hours like we typically do. That just isn't going to be possible. Animal Crossing had the sickie on its side. That's what I'm saying. 2020 and the sickie helped it. You know, 1 million a day is pretty impressive. You know what I'm saying? 1 million a day is pretty impressive. Kids versus RPG player. I still think there are less Zelda players. Animal Crossing was hitting a larger kid audience, I think. I think you'd be shocked at how Animal Crossing is so much more supported by adults. I don't think Animal Crossing was a large child audience. I think Animal Crossing's age distribution is probably 20 and up. Because if you look at the Switch logins alone, only 24% of the people that play on Switch are under the age of 18. 76% are like 22 and up. That the largest bulk of the player base on Switch is in the 20 to 40 bracket. So I think there's way more to be seen. Yeah, I wonder too if they're hinting at things. Because look, I think, isn't that exactly how everything looks in the last game? Right there is the central, isn't that the central castle, all infected and nasty? And it looks like something similar is happening up on this mountain peak. And then they're kind of glancing around. I wonder if they're glancing around to give us hints. That right there looks like some kind of a tower, but it looks like a different tower. There's like lights coming up from the sides. What do you think about fusing two of the same things to be a repair? I still suspect it'll only be a fuse once system. I mean, I could totally get behind that. I could totally get behind being like, hey, if you really like this weapon and you don't want it to break, just wait till you find another one and fuse it and that repairs it. My only problem with that is, why wouldn't you just pick up the new weapon and use it instead? Like, I guess what, you have some semblance of an attachment. Like, well, this is one of the first swords I found, and I'm just going to keep using it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't see, I don't know. I can't see that being a that's not a huge shift from how the game already works. The game already kind of works in that way. You literally, let me get to the final part here. I think they show a final part, don't they? No, they just show the thing. Yeah, they just show the new like Zelda stuff. I may be remembering Breath of the Wild wrong, but it might have been this big, but the scope of this game looks absolutely insane. Breath of the Wild scope was bonkers. If you really climbed up to the highest points and looked around and tried to glide, you know what I mean? That could be cool. But yeah, the game was definitely this. I feel like the scope and size of Breath of the Wild was similar to this. Total Switch sales have now surpassed the Game Boy Advance. That's impressive. I would only agree with that it allowed me to take two of the same items, but I want to repair my longsword that had the plus durability or some extra enhancements to it. Oh, yeah, you know, I could see that in Myrtle Turtle. You could say, hey, you know, this sword is got a plus durability, or this, I really like this sword or something. You either save the damaged ones for the critical hit or you save them up for repair. Right, and that could be just the player's decision. You could say, listen, you can use this sword to repair, or you can use this sword and break it on someone's face, and you can get that critical, you know, that critical damage hit or whatever. It could go either way. Guys, thanks again for hanging out and smashing the like button. We are watching, reacting to, and breaking down the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom new gameplay. And if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit like. Help us hit our daily member goal of 25. You can hit the join button or the $sign at the bottom of the chat. Every time we hit this goal, I have to gift 25. We actually haven't missed that goal since November. And this may be the first day we miss it, because this is going to be a very different day for us. We're going to be shifting very quickly here. Typically, we hang out for about 2.5 hours or so talking about a subject. But we are quickly going to be jumping to some other things, just because I don't want to belabor the point. I think the footage is awesome. I think this significantly increased my excitement for the game. I think they started out exactly right. They show you down on the ground in Hyrule. I think they did that intentionally so people would think, oh, it just looks like DLC. I think they also started out by one of the first things they show you is that weapon durability is still in the game, knowing that might upset people. And they very smartly injure or damage this branch. It's a badly damaged tree branch now, because they wanted you to see it not be badly damaged once it gets fused with the boulder. And I think this is one of the things that's going to make this game really, really fun. So, hey, your tree branch is badly damaged. And then he's going to fuse it with this boulder, and he's going to get a plus to its attack. It's going to go up by 2. Now it's a 4, and now he's no longer getting the badly damaged warning. And he's going to take it down here and be able to use it on two different enemies. The amount of pop-in is going to be epic alone. Oh, they'll definitely be pop-in. Yo, what's good, McD09? Calling it now, we're going to get a grappling hook. So wham, wham, wham gets him in 3, right? Good block. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, it's 4. Okay, 4. You think it'll still get the DLC accusation? Yeah, I mean, we could debate that for a little bit and just kind of think through, you know, what we think. Okay, so the stick that he picked up is a red arrow down. So the stick that he picked up is weaker than a 4. We know that. So it's either a 3 or a 2 or a 1. So because this is a 4, and when he picks up the stick, right? See the red arrow down? That means the long stick is weaker than a 4. So it's a 3, a 2, or a 1. I'm going with I think the long stick is a 2. Because here, he takes the long stick and he fuses it with the pitchfork. And he gets a +4 equaling a 6. Oh, no. That actually right there confirms that it's a 2. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that confirms it's a 2. Basic math. I want to anticipate some kind of extremely rare resource, say adamant or unobtainium. It looks like a proper sequel. The DLC accusation is reserved for Sony games. That's right. Even though they get tons of nominations and win tons of awards, people will still claim, oh, it's basically DLC. I think one of my favorite things about all of my Sony coverage and Xbox coverage is how interested Xbox players are in the quality of games they never play. This is going to make Sony compete and make better games. Have you played any of them? Well, no. This game is basically DLC. Have you played either one of them? Well, no. It's so odd to me. I don't really care about the quality of mobile games because I don't really play them. I don't really talk about the quality of Pokemon games because I don't play them, right? Oh, that Pokemon game is basically just DLC. Did you ever play it? Well, no, but it's just got more Pokemans in it, so it's obviously just a DLC. Why do you care so much about games you don't play? Do you really need a grappling hook when you can climb the surface and you have a glider? Yeah, I think a grappling hook could be fun. It definitely doesn't seem necessary though in light of what you actually have. You know what I'm saying? How are you not going to actually read the point of my comment? You can collect and use the top weapons to basically make them unbreakable. I thought you were just making a joke about unobtainium. I don't think they're going to let us farm for material to make something unbreakable. Did you say more Pokemans? Pokemans. No, not Pokemon. Not cute little streamer girl. Pokemans. Not Pokemon. Listen, don't cross Pokemon, dude. You better be careful. You better be careful, man. She's killer. She's killer queen. Okay, so here's what's interesting. He puts the rock on his shield and gets a +1 to attack. So I wonder, are you able to go up and stun? Are you able to stun them with the rock on the shield? Wham! Hit him in the face. I love when people talk about sequels being DLC. You can bet your bottom dollar they have a trilogy as their favorite game of all time: Halo 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, or Dark Souls. Yeah. Ugly but show ride. Oh, the thumb. You didn't have to rush it. We have a little bit of time if you want to pretty it up. No, I think that's fine. I think that thumbnail's great, creature. All right, you guys have a little bit of time. I'm gonna have to give you a time limit here. We're gonna watch this video probably 1 or 2 more times. And then we've got an Xbox Game Pass dollar thing that we're going to watch together. It's almost a 20-minute video. So we'll hang out together for that premiere, and then we're all going to hang out as members, and we'll debrief after the fact. So you have a little bit of time to hit this member goal. We're gonna lose our streak. We've had the streak since November. I think we're gonna lose the streak today. I don't know why people expect a sequel to look massively different than its predecessor. It's honestly, ironically, a lazy criticism to be like, it just looks like DLC. Right? The irony of the criticism is it's a lazy criticism, because if you think about it, every sequel feels like the previous game, right? To a certain degree. Every single one. Never could finish Breath of the Wild, couldn't get into it. Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I've tried to go back and play it, and all I ever do when I play games like this is I just want to be able to play it with my wife. I'm like, man, like, imagine being able to play like Immortals Phoenix Rising or this game with somebody else. I think that would just be so fun. I'm just remembering the God of War Ragnarok discussions, and the DLC guys looked at combat and graphics. That's all they focused on. No, you're good, Abe. You're good. You've done plenty. We need other folks to either step up, or we need folks to just step up and buy their own memberships. We need people to start doing that anyway. We need to. Can't rely on all the gifted, generous folks. Here's the thing, though. If you go and look at any sequel, Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 and Brotherhood, go look at the Halo 1, 2, and 3. Like, I don't think you're ever going to have the game... Like, when you started running around in Halo, where you're like, oh man, this is a completely different game. Same weapons, same enemies, right? Same thing with Assassin's Creed, right? Like, you have a lot of the same basic mechanics, a lot of the same basic fights. Yeah, Halo, Gears, Dark Souls. The environment could stay the same, says Solemn, but as much as goes in between the sequels... as much time goes in between the sequels, at the very least, graphics, smoothness of animations, as well as innovations in the environment should be expected. Well, no, for sure. And I do think that's one of the reasons, if you look at the way that Dark Souls evolved, if you look at the way that even Halo evolved, it felt better, but it was still the same basic weapons, same basic enemies, same basic combat, you know? People confuse DLC with a cash grab game. I'm not sure what you mean, Ghostface. I don't think Zelda's ever had a back-to-back sequel. I feel like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were kind of in that vein. They were very similar in what they looked like. Now, the mechanics were obviously completely and totally different. I'm trying to think. Because Zelda 1 to 2 was so different. I think those were even different teams, weren't they? And then you had Link to the Past. Then you had Ocarina. Then you had Majora's. Then you had Wind Waker, right? And then all the you had all the Game Boy ones. The durability didn't help. I should be able to swing a wood-cutting axe more than 12 times. I liked keeping the wood-cutting axe for chopping down trees. I didn't use it on enemies. It seemed to last way longer if you used it just on the trees. OG Zelda and Zelda 2 were in the same timeline. Story-wise, they were such different games, though. I didn't... That second one I felt like was honestly bad. Ocarina and Majora's Mask are probably the most obvious and closest to the sequels. Yeah, they were basically similar like movement systems and stuff. The mechanics were 1-to-1 in Ocarina and Majora's Masks. The difference was the time loop. Oh, so the mechanics were 1-to-1. It was just they did the time loop thing. That effectively makes Ocarina of Time a trilogy, though, right? What comes after Majora's Mask that makes it a trilogy? Tilu 1 and 2 are fundamentally the same in gameplay, different in graphics, new mechanics. That's true. That's true. And see, I think that's fine. Here's the thing. I think people just cherry pick when they feel like making the criticism, and it's based off of loyalty and not based off of actual analysis. Right? They're not like... in the grand scheme of sequels, this game is breaking some kind of unwritten rule. No, it's not. You just don't like it. All sequels basically do this. The game sounds cool and I like the ideas, but I just can't play Nintendo Switch. It's so outdated and the games just look old, but that's my opinion. Hope everyone enjoys it. I think Nintendo Switch continues to prove that all you need is solid gameplay. That's all you need. And you're fine. That's all you need. If you have solid gameplay, you ain't got to worry about any of that other stuff. People will buy your game. They will play your game. I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to shock people. And in a day and age, we're all, I'm doing this, by the way. We're all doing it. We're all clamoring for the best graphics and the best frames per second. A 30 frames per second game on a portable device / console hybrid is going to be one of the most commercially successful games this year. I think Breath of the Wild will be in third place. I think Hogwarts is going to take first place for most commercial sales. Second place will go to Diablo 4, and then Zelda will be in third as far as total commercial sales. I think the biggest thing standing in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom's way, is it's only on one system. Diablo is basically everywhere. PC, Xbox, the old Xbox and the Series X and the S, the PS4 and the PS5. So this is how the Tears of the Kingdom gameplay starts. The first thing that we pointed out a little bit ago is they have seemingly updated your D-pad where you'll be able to hit up to go to your food and or meals. So you'll be able to, I'm hoping you can create like a shortcut menu here of all the meals that you want to have the quickest access to. So instead of going into your menu to eat during a fight, you should be able to just use the D-pad as far as I can tell. I think they started down here on purpose. I think they wanted people to like immediately feel like, oh, this just looks like DLC. Some dude thought Nintendo showed too much of this. I genuinely don't think they showed a lot. They didn't show a lot, but I also don't think they showed too little. I think they showed enough. They showed a mechanic that's baked into the crust of the game that will fundamentally change how it plays. The fusing system, I think, is probably the most important change they could show. Now, I'm saying that ignorant of the other major changes, but the fusing system is quite literally going to affect the moment-to-moment combat, which is so huge in the game. So huge. Swade says, I tried saying the same. Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks are all tied together as well. SS is a bit of a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is fully and directly in the LTTP timeline, Link to the Past timeline, and Link Between Worlds is a direct sequel to Link to the Past. Really? We're getting a bit of a bump in viewership. If you're coming in to check out the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gameplay, make sure and hit subscribe. Hit that like button. We only need 50 more likes to hit 400 likes. Thank you, everybody who's been liking the stream. Smash the member button as well. If you want to become a member, hit join or the $sign. If you want to give some members to the community, we've gotten 4 new members today. If you want to geek out about sequels, SS is a bit of a direct sequel to... I already read that. Stream delay. I was like, huh? Spider-Man's going to sell a ton? No. Spider-Man's going to shock the world? No. Spider-Man 2 will do fine. Spider-Man 2 is not going to be in the top 3 commercial sales this year. Spider-Man 2 won't be in the top 3 because it's only on the PS5. That's going to limit its commercial reach. It's going to be amazing. It's going to sell well. Everybody loves Spidey. But I think as far as commercial sales go, I don't think it could be in the top 3. I don't think so. Same for Final Fantasy 16. Like, I don't think so. You're only on one platform. I think being like, well, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's only on one platform. Yeah, there's a big difference between the Nintendo Switch and the PS5 as far as market saturation. They're not even in the same universe of market saturation. So, everybody thinks I'm like big, PlayStation guy. As much as I like PlayStation and Sony, I can look straight face at Spider-Man 2 and know that its commercial success isn't going to be anywhere close to the top 3 games this year. Game of the Year? No, I don't think so. I don't think Spider-Man 2 gets Game of the Year. I would love for that to happen, but I don't think so. If you haven't seen this yet, this is the new mechanic called Fuse. So what's going to happen is a menu is going to pop up, and he has the option of fusing this boulder to his wooden shield or to his tree branch. When fused to your shield, it will give your shield a different appearance, obviously, like you'll have a boulder sticking out the front of it, and then it'll have different things that you can do. He's going to stick it to his tree branch, and he's going to gain points. That is a +2, taking it to a total of 4, you can see there. We don't know if this resets the durability or absorbs the durability of both the boulder and the damaged branch, but he now has the ability to use it, and it will not break on the next 2 fights. The first fight, the tree branch broke before the guy even died, so this is a significant boost to durability. Now, he says something here. Let's go back and just listen to what he says, because he might actually give us a verbal cue as to what's happening. I think it raises the durability more than just the attack rating. Let's listen.
If we use this branch and the rock over here and do this, look, we can stick them together. We created a makeshift hammer. This is called Fuse. You can stick objects together to create new weapons with various effects. Let's take on another construct with this fused weapon. We're dealing with 2 of them at once. Oh, we beat one. The weapon's attack has definitely improved.
Okay, so its attack is improved.
The other branch broke, but this weapon has much better durability.
Yeah, it has much better durability, so he doesn't speak with specificity, but both its attack and its durability have been improved. What'll be the top 3 most sold this year? I think the number 1 spot for game this year of commercial sales is going to go to Hogwarts. I think number 2 goes to Diablo 4, and then I think number 3 is this game. Yeah, I think Victor's got it. That's the top 3 right there. I do. I think I'm just speaking purely commercial success. Total copies sold. Hogwarts Legacy will not be beat. It won't. I think second place goes to Diablo 4, and then third place goes to Zelda. Wheezy saying Hogwarts, Zelda, and if COD or FIFA. I don't know. Diablo 4 could be a monster because it's the first time a Diablo title has ever landed on both PC and console at the exact same time. So its commercial success could be absolutely insane. And they just did an open beta, you know. They had what did they say? Like 1 million people got the puppy in the first weekend? I don't know. That was just people who had pre-ordered the dadgum thing. Yeah, there's supposed to be some kind of a commercial COD release. I don't know what it's going to look like, though. Spider-Man PS4 sold 3 million within the first 3 days. I mean, if Spider-Man had 1 million a day, you'd have to compare PS4 saturation at that point in time compared to PS5 saturation right now. Diablo's that popular? Diablo 3's commercial success was bonkers, wasn't it? Didn't it sell a stupid amount in the first week? No new COD this year? I thought there was. I thought they said no, and then I thought they said there was some commercial COD releasing this year, which competing with COD is almost impossible. I mean, not almost impossible, but competing with COD in total commercial sales is always tough. I think Ragnarok sold 70% on PS5. Oh, like 70% of its sales was on the PS5? Diablo is that popular? There were way more PS4s and PS5s. Yeah, I think that's going to make it really, really tough. Now, I don't know if maybe when you match certain types, right? Like, here he does what? Wooden stick into a log? Is that what he does? Yeah, wooden stick into a wooden log, and it only does a +1, which you would expect. You putting a dadgum log on the end of that, it would do more than that, but it only has a +1. I will never doubt FIFA and COD. Well, yeah, I'm not paying attention to FIFA and COD. If FIFA and COD are doing something this year, then they'll be in the top 3 for sure, because their commercial footprint's stupid. It's absolutely bonkers. But like I honestly don't know if Diablo 4, I really think Diablo 4 is going to be a contender for the number 2 spot this year. God of War came bundled with PS5. Yeah, all of the sales records don't everybody tries to do that. Everybody tries to claim that God of War Ragnarok only had good sales because of bundles. That's not true. That notion has been dispelled. That's an excuse and a hand wave from people who don't like to admit that God of War Ragnarok did amazing, right? They all poo-pooed it and called it DLC, and then it had amazing commercial success. And they're like, oh, it's because of bundles. No, it wasn't. There was at least 2 reports that came out that completely debunked that notion. That's anti-Sony propaganda that Xbox guys put out there. Not all Xbox guys do that, but there's plenty of Xbox guys that tried to run and find excuses for God of War Ragnarok's commercial success. Same with Horizon Forbidden West. They did the same thing. Oh, it's because of bundles. No. I don't see Diablo touching this game in sales. Oh, I do. Because Diablo's on PC. That market alone gives it a huge advantage because the PC community is massive. It's also going to land on the PS4 and the PS5. It's going to land on the old Xbox One as well as the Series S and the X. That's a lot of friggin' systems. Breath of the Wild was basically a launch title for Switch, and its lifetime is $25 million, and it won multiple games of the year. Tears of the Kingdom hype is probably the largest of any non-Hogwarts game. I think you meant to say what? It's the largest hype except for Hogwarts, like Save Hogwarts maybe. Even if it was due to bundles, it means people are willing to pay an initial extra for a system game that they want. Well, I think what the people would say is oh, you can't buy PS5, so people are being forced to buy a PS5 bundle, and that's padding the numbers. Back in February, it was announced that there should be a new COD release in the fall. We haven't gotten a straight answer. I feel like Call of Duty's messing around. I feel like they've changed their mind. I think it was nope, no annual release, and then I think somebody somewhere changed their mind for some reason. Breath of the Wild sold 29 million copies. Diablo 3 sold like 21 million. Oh, is that true? Diablo 3 week 1 sales. In the first week of Diablo 3, they had 6 million players. No. Yeah, it sold 3.5 million in the first 24 hours. In the first 24 hours, Diablo 3 sold 3.5 million. In the first week, Breath of the Wild had half of that. Now, that could be attributed to the Switch having bad saturation or not being as available. So when Diablo 3 launched only on PC, back when gaming wasn't near the size that it is today, okay, they sold 3.5 million in a day. That was 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, when the gaming community was smaller and Diablo 3 launched on one platform, they sold 3.5 million in a day. They sold 6 million in the first week. Diablo 3 total sales is... I can't see it. I don't know where... Somebody in chat had the number. What, 21 million? What about Starfield sales? I don't think Starfield sales are even going to be a blip on the radar because so many people are going to play Starfield on Game Pass. You literally get charged more for getting a console that comes with the game. You aren't getting the game for free at all. Yeah. The notion that the God of War numbers or the Horizon Forbidden West numbers were padded by bundles, it's just a lie that... It's just a lie that Xbox YouTubers and pundits use to dismiss how successful the game was, because people are just insecure. Like, you just can't celebrate a game being good or a game being successful. Your insecurity and your anti-Sony narrative has to come up with some kind of nonsense in order to dismiss and excuse a game's commercial success. That would be like being like anti-Nintendo and being like, oh yeah, Breath of the Wild only sold well because of the combo units of the Nintendo Switch. Like, you just sound stupid. Like, dismissing the commercial success of something and trying to hand wave, like, oh, it was just because of the bundles. You just sound like a dishonest idiot. Like, you don't sound like somebody worth listening to. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anybody in chat saying that, but there have been plenty of people that have tried to do that. They try to hand wave the commercial success of something simply because they're against the property that it landed on. Like, they don't like Sony, so they try to hand wave and excuse the success, or, you know, oh, it's because of this. And it's like, no. And Horizon was hitting good numbers before the bundle units were even available. They were not padded at all. There was definite interest in both God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West. Both were very anticipated titles. Apologies, the 21 million number was old. Blizzard confirmed 65 million players in May. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't think people understand how many Diablo 4 copies are going to sell. I don't think people really consider it. As of May of last year, 65 million players in Diablo 3 over the course of its lifetime. And this is the first time a Diablo title is going to be hitting PC and all consoles at the exact same date. The only console that's not getting it is the Switch. If they could get a cloud version on the Switch, holy frick. Holy moly. Breath of the Wild was an anomaly in Japan. Before Breath of the Wild, Zelda was the definition of niche in Japan. Yeah, I'm telling you. I don't know. If Tears of the Kingdom sells more copies than Diablo 4, I'll be shocked. Because you're limited to one platform, and I just think that immediately makes it really, really difficult. If Diablo 4 has a couple million on Xbox, a couple million on PlayStation, and then a ton of people on PC, the Switch has to compete with all of that. They're not just competing with, like, the PC sales, and they're not just competing with, you know, PlayStation sales or something like that. I think that's going to make it incredibly hard to topple Diablo. Either way you shake this, it's good news, because it just means more revenue, more commercial success for the gaming industry as a whole. And I think that's a good thing. We want to see, and listen, the longer we can maintain people considering that buying games is a good thing and a normal thing, like, I really want that counter narrative out there in the world. I want people to see the commercial success of Diablo. I want them to see the commercial success of Zelda, because we're about to enter into the subscription world where games are put behind subscription walls. And I really, really hope that's a slow rudder turn, because I don't think that's going to be good for games at all. We know it won't be in the millions because Xbox don't buy games, Kappa. I actually wonder if the commercial success of Diablo 4 on the Xbox ecosystem is going to be bottlenecked by people saying, oh, I'm going to wait. It'll probably be on Game Pass once the deal goes through. Like, I wonder how many people are going to be miffed, and they're going to be like, I'm not buying Diablo. That game should be on Game Pass. If this deal would have gone through faster, you know, if this deal would have happened faster, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if the commercial success of Diablo 4 on the Xbox ecosystem is harmed by that consumer perception. I think Spider-Man 2 will sell 15 million within 3 months. Zelda will sell 13 million within 3 months. And Diablo 4 will sell 18 million within 3 months. So basically, you're doing a 3-month speculation. You think Diablo 4 lands close to 20 million at 18. Zelda creeps over 10 million with 13, and then you think Spider-Man's in the middle? 15 million for Spider-Man 2? I can't see that. What's the estimated PlayStation 5 saturation by the time Spider-Man launches? What's the estimated PlayStation 5 saturation? You're talking about, I think you're guesstimating about a third of the PlayStation 5 populace is going to be buying that game. That's an amazing adoption rate. I don't think so. Zelda has sold a further 5 million copies in the past year. I don't think Spider-Man 2 is going to be even in the running with Diablo and Zelda. I just don't think so. Zelda did 30 million in 6 years. Okay. To your buying games point, Factorio is increasing their price, not to mention they're developing a DLC for it, which will be an additional $35 to my knowledge. I don't know what game that is. What's Factorio? Is that like a is that like a sim game, like a factory game? Spider-Man hit 30 pretty quickly, I thought. What? No. What? Spider-Man game total sales. I think they always combine it. Marvel's Spider-Man games have sold 33 million copies worldwide. See, I think they cheat, though. I think that's both Spider-Man and Miles Morales. I'm not saying that Spider-Man won't be really successful, but I just don't think Spider-Man's going to be able to hold a candle to the total sales of Diablo 4 or Zelda. I think Spider-Man's going to do amazing, but I think Zelda is incredibly tough to beat, and Diablo 4 is going to be everywhere. Spider-Man has 30 million between the two games. Yeah, that is an amazing number. Hear me say that. Like, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I'm a huge PlayStation fan, right? That's an impressive number. 30 million between the two is insane. But, homie, you're not going to compete with Diablo 4 and Zelda. I just don't think so. Breath of the Wild's commercial success has been bonkers. And Diablo is going to just... I think it's going to be tectonic. Spider-Man will not outsell Zelda, I can promise you that. Yeah, I just don't think so. I don't think it will. I think Spider-Man will do great. I think it really will. I think the success of Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales in the 30 million range, I think that's incredible. I could see Spider-Man hitting, 10 million in the first couple of months. You get about a third of the people who owned one of those games to buy. You also have to consider that 30 million sales between Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales. That's total sales. That's not necessarily unique players. A lot of the people that bought Spider-Man also bought Miles. So it's not 30 million unique people. It's 30 million sales. And a lot of those sales are people like me. I bought both. I'm the same person. So I can only buy Spider-Man 2 one time. Does that make sense? Sony anticipates 10 million in PS5 sales in quarter 3. That'll be really good. If they do a bundle, I think that actually will really help Spider-Man, because people like Spider-Man and they like the bundle units. I bought a PS4 Pro, and that was when I decided I wanted to move because I wanted to play Spider-Man. Well, not move, but I wanted to adopt into the PlayStation ecosystem. PS5 owners are thirsty for Spider-Man 2. What was that? Okay, I saw I saw in the corner of my eye, I saw like the tails flapping up and down, and I was like, did he just use a bird to fly? Spider-Man is also only on the PS5. Diablo is on the PC, Xbox, and PC. Diablo will be insane. Yeah, the other thing you have to consider is, number one, Diablo's on every platform. The other thing you have to consider is Spider-Man is only on the PS5, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is only on the Switch. The Nintendo Switch market saturation is stupid high. It's stupid high. Total Nintendo Switches in circulation. 120 million Nintendo Switches are in circulation. The PS5 is going to be a fraction of that, even by the time Spider-Man 2 comes out. The PS5 is going to be like, what, in the 40 millions maybe? 40 or 50 million maybe? I don't even know what the estimates are. That's a fraction of how many Nintendo Switches are in circulation. 120 million Nintendo Switches are out in the wild. That's insane. Did water look this good in Breath of the Wild? Hang on. Let me let him walk over. I don't remember. I actually think the water did look pretty good in Breath of the Wild, because there's a lot of spots where you swim in it and stuff. Yeah, I think that's about the same. I'd have to do a side-by-side comparison, but that looks the same to me. They might have added a little bit more lighting effects to the surface. Maybe? It seems more reflective. Yeah, that was posted yesterday, Butters. Yeah, it looks like Mirage is getting delayed according to a leak. Just got out of call what I missed. Just debates about what games are going to sell the most copies this year. There are comparisons you can make with Diablo 4 and Spider-Man, but not direct side-by-side sales or number comparisons, player number comparisons. Yeah. 30 million to sell this year, 60 by year's end. Okay, let's go conservative. Let's say they have 50 million PlayStation 5s in circulation. There will be more Nintendo Switches sold this year as the year progresses. So, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Tears of the Kingdom causes a big boost in Switch sales before it comes out. So by year's end, I could see that 120, 122 Switches jumping to 130 million. So you're talking about 130 million Nintendo Switches versus 50 million. You're literally a fraction of the potential consumer base. Like, even if every single person who owns a PS5 buys Spider-Man 2, you know what I'm saying? Switch has so much market dominance. That's why when people say, like, Nintendo Switch is for children, or Nintendo is niche, or Nintendo only appeals to kids, I'm like, you're freaking ignorant. You don't know what the frick you're talking about. Nintendo is God, and no one pays attention to them. Nintendo is like the sun. You just forget that it's there. Everything else is in its shadow. No one else is even close to their dadgum market saturation. And people are like, oh yeah, Nintendo. Nintendo is niche and for children. Well, shut the frick up, man. Their commercial success, the quantity of games that they sell. Look at the Pokemon games, for crying out loud. And when people sit over here and want to talk about, like, Xbox is 25 million Game Pass strong and all this other nonsense. Xbox is a joke compared to Nintendo. You get all these idiots in Congress making claims about the Japanese market being tough for Xbox. Listen, you're not even looking at Nintendo. They're trying to make some dumb, bogus claim that, like, Sony dominates the market in Japan because they're intentionally avoiding all stats that show the number of software sales annually on the Nintendo Switch makes Sony look like a joke in comparison. Like, seriously, United States politicians are looking like a bunch of frickin' morons right now. Oh, well, it's really hard on Xbox in Japan because of Sony. And Nintendo's in the corner going, oh, you are adorable. You bunch of senior citizens that should retire, you're adorable. Sony's making it really hard on Xbox in the Japanese market. Yeah, look at annual software sales on the Switch compared to Sony, you bunch of idiots. Just because Microsoft sucks wind in the Japanese market doesn't mean that has anything to do with Sony. It's not even worth a show. I have people getting on my Twitter like, what are you going to say about the United States weighing in on this? Yeah, they're all going to look really stupid when people actually start looking at the facts. They're going to get embarrassed, just like they got embarrassed when the Tickety Talk CEO sat down and started talking about protecting user privacy. It's like, really, America? You want to lecture us about protecting user privacy? Shut the frick up. You bunch of geriatrics. Nintendo has perfected being the unsuspecting kid in the corner picking their nose. Yeah, like, they're not doing anything. You know, Sony's making things hard on Microsoft in Japan. Look at game sales in Japan. Sony ain't doing anything. And what are you talking about? Nintendo is God in the Japanese market. Bunch of friggin' idiots. So uneducated. All those politicians are doing right now is letting us know who's lining their pockets. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. Oh, yeah. Good to know who lines your pockets. Uh-huh. How fat was the check from Microsoft? Gee, I wonder why y'all are taking such a vested interest in this. I wonder who helps for your lobbying. I wonder who pays for your campaigns and everything else. Gee, I wonder. Maybe one of the biggest Western-owned companies in the world, Microsoft. It's such a suspicious thing. Oh, it's such a hard thing to figure out. Bought and friggin' paid for. Xbox games don't appear in top sales anymore because of Game Pass, but player numbers are through the roof. Yeah, that's another thing that's just marvelously left out of all of those commercial reports. You took all of your property and you put it on a dadgum subscription service. Oh, yeah, we don't get as many sales as they do. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder why. We can't sell as many copies. Because that's not your offer. Here we go. Come on, let's not miss this sub goal. We're running out of time. 5 gifted members from SSJ Gohan, taking us to 9, getting us halfway to the member goal. We've not missed this goal since November. Every 25, I gotta give 5. Thank you guys so much. And it goes to Chris, it goes to Jason, it goes to Cliffo, it goes to Tigraine, it goes to am something. If you guys want to do one member at a time or you want to pay it forward, if you just got gifted a member and you're like, I could pay for my own membership, gift one member and pay it forward. I don't need super chats. We want members, baby. That's what we do here. Shouldn't the American governments protect and promote American companies abroad? Yes, but if you're going to actually start to talk about Microsoft's lack of presence in the Japanese market and you want to point the finger at Sony, you look like an idiot, because as far as software sales go in Japan, Sony is a matchbook in comparison to Nintendo. They're a matchbook. Like, it's not even, it's like, isn't it like 90% of the software sales annually in Japan, it's Nintendo? It's like 90%. But see, what they're doing is they're juicing the number. They're trying to trick everybody. Oh yeah, 98% of high-end consoles. Well, yeah, of course, because that lets you conveniently ignore Nintendo, because Nintendo doesn't sell a high-end console. They're freaking manipulating the stats. Yo, 15 members coming in. There we go. That's going to take us. Okay, hang on a minute. That's 20. There we go. There we go. That's 39. That's 39. That's 10 from Online MVP, 5 from Alapark, and 5 from Walker. That is 20 total, taking us to 39. We did it. We did it. And all you all that just got gifted a member, if your name is in chat and you just got gifted a member, look, man, look. Y'all can hang with us today. We'll debrief with members. This stream actually went a little bit longer than I anticipated. We've been having a good conversation. I'm kind of shocked. I thought we were going to run out of steam. I was kind of worried. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm not reading all 20 names. Protecting someone's interest still requires accuracy and awareness. That's what I'm saying. They just look stupid. We're 11 away from 50, by the way. If we hit 50 members, I have to give you more than 5. I have to give you 10. So you guys could maybe try and do that as well. I'm not pushing for it. 29? Oh, no. You're right. We had 9. I thought we had 19. Yeah, we're at 29, not 39. I'm stupid. Sorry. It's hard to read this. I thought it was a 19. I was like, wait, 19 and 20? Sorry. My shirt's like making it hard to read the white. Usually I go like this, so it's just like a black background. Thank you for calling that out, Alapark. The Switch is 87% of the market in Japan. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, our government is just embarrassing themselves. And all these pro Xbox guys are out here tweeting it. And it's like, you guys literally you just look stupid. You're not taking 2 seconds to analyze the statistics. You're not taking 2 seconds to analyze the market in Japan. You just want to dunk on Sony. It's another Mackenzie moment. That's right. They just want to dunk on Sony. The only reason I'm not running that story is I don't feel like freaking listening to them. I literally don't feel like listening to the pro Xbox crowd come in and manipulate statistics and quote YouTubers and bloggers who are out there just saying stuff that's just utter nonsense. Oh, yeah, UK government. I'm sorry, the United States government is pointing out what Sony's been doing in Japan. Oh, okay. You're one of those people that thinks Nintendo is niche and Nintendo doesn't have a far market reach. You're one of those people. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. It is Tuesday. Oh, you know what we can do? We don't have any drama to debrief on. We can actually do a new trailer Tuesday. That's typically what we do with members when we hang out. We can actually do one. We've not done one in a while. I think we can go in the next 3 minutes. I think we can. I've got a great video. No, we're not going to do new trailer Tuesday in the next 3 minutes. I've got a great video on the Game Pass for $1 thing. Oh my gosh, the the frickin' entitlement is it's actually bonkers. Wait till you guys see this article I've got for you. Wait till you guys see. It's just it's remarkable. Truly remarkable. Truly. I've never quite seen anything like this. I tell you what, I'm going to gift 5 members when we're over there. This is an incentive for you guys to go watch the premiere, all right? It's going to go live in 2 minutes. I'm going to send us over there. And then when it's done, I'm going to hang out with members, all right? Tears of the Kingdom has already surpassed. The reason why I'm saying Zelda is because Nintendo fans are starved for a good first party right now. Oh, so you're that actually makes sense that the interest in this game is through the dadgum roof, Wheezy, because they're all starved for a first party title because they haven't gotten one in a really long time. I never really considered the fact that they're drowning. Well, not drowning. They're praying for rain. They're just absolutely praying for rain. You know what I mean? All right, let me send you guys over there. The link in chat will take you. You guys want to see this video. I'm going to give 5 members when we're over there. I owe you 5. We hit the goal. Thanks for letting us hit the goal. We've kept the streak since November. I'm going to send you guys over to this premiere. You're going to be shocked at what people are saying about the $1 Game Pass thing going away. I've never seen anything like this, but it's not surprising given my worries and concerns about Game Pass. So I'm going to redirect you. If you don't want to ride the redirect, make sure and click the link in chat. Hit the like button on the way out on this video. We only need 18 more likes, so smash the like button. And when you get over to the new video, go crazy on the like button over there. There's going to be a couple hundred of you over there. Get it to 100 likes really, really quickly. It helps out the premiere. I'll see you over there. I'll be in the chat. And when the Game Pass video is done, I'm going to debrief with the members. We'll take a look at some new trailers. I'll see you guys over there in the Game Pass video.